You will become a successful video editor if you work hard and keep your deadlines, is what I wish I could tell you. I want to tell you what all the other video editor gurus out there are telling you, that this is a great side hustle with no drawbacks. But I'm here to tell you, with 5 years of experience video editing and watched hundreds upon hundreds of videos like those, that for the average video editor, that is simply not true. Hi, I'm Jaden Caster and I'm 23 years old. I have been video editing for 5 years and worked with such people as One Shot Quips, Offbeat Outlaw, Careful Cantrip, Brandon the DM, Tabletop for Two, and a few others. Some of those may ring a bell if you know the D&D community, specifically on TikTok. And if they don't ring a bell, that's a big point of part of this video that we will circle back to later. Through these many content creators and my account as well, I've accumulated roughly 16 million views altogether on YouTube. And this doesn't also account for TikTok and Instagram. I got professionally into video editing after dropping out of art school to pursue a fantastic opportunity with One Shot Quips. And if you think that was a dumb idea, that unfortunately wasn't the case. I wasn't planning on graduating anyways. I had taken the same art classes over and over again 2, 3, 4 times in a row. Not because I was getting bad grades, but I liked doing the art and I didn't like doing the other classes. Either way, I've always loved video editing. I started back in 2020 on my YouTube channel.
My iron just died.
I got infatuated with editing. I enjoyed the process more than I've enjoyed writing and filming and doing art. Over the years, those videos somehow have accumulated views. I don't exactly know how. The thumbnails are crappy. They were made in Phototopia, and the videos were made in a video editing software called Corel Studio. And if you know anything about that, it's an $80 studio app that just does basically everything that Windows Movie Maker does, but just a slightly better. Overall, big waste of money. All that to say, I pretty much started from ground zero. Here's what I've learned about becoming a successful video editor. 1, you need to be talented enough to be recognized, whether that's because you're creative enough or you have a portfolio to back up your talent. 2, you need connections, either to get in contact with people or so that those people recognize those connections and give you a chance. And the most important of all, 3, you need a fuck ton of luck. If you don't have 2 of those 3 things, you do not have a shot at being hired. I will explain why this is a case in my experience, at least. Talent. You need to know what you're doing when it comes to video editing. I know that's very obvious, but there's a lot more to it than you think, and there's a lot more to it than I thought originally. You need to be able to cut up the footage, make a cohesive story, and know where everything is on the software. But it doesn't just stop there. Sometimes people want you to do more than just cut up the footage. You need to know how to color grade and sound design, and in some cases use Photoshop. But what video editing gurus are not telling you, employers are looking for all of that and then some. I see every day an employer asking for somebody that is a professional in After Effects and Blender, and if you know things about those softwares, those are usually for VFX artists. I mean, After Effects can also be for video editing. But knowing that they're looking for VFX artists is very unfortunate, because if you know anything about editing, is you're not creating effects, you're applying them. And then on top of all of that, there are people that want you to also be able to make the thumbnails. They all fundamentally go hand in hand, but it's also like saying the person that draws and animates the characters has to also draw the background and make the movie poster. It's just not how it works if you want a great product, and companies, and in turn YouTubers and other people like that, have decided to try to shove as many responsibilities onto one job as possible so that they can get a better bang for their buck. And on top of all of that, they want to save money on training. So you have to mimic their exact video editing style. These are all things that have been asked of me, and if I can't meet one small criteria, then I do not get the gig. Something that obviously helps, you need to be creative and make creative decisions. That's what got me my first job at One Shot Questers. They told me they liked my creativity with certain decisions, but my execution of other decisions were a little less than mediocre. I won't lie, when I applied, I didn't know how to apply a green screen effect properly. Dude, I got a new spell that can raise the dead. Dude, sweet, let's test it on my grandma. Oh, God! This one's a little short and self-explanatory. You just need connections. You need to know people who know other people, or people who know of people. The only reason I ever actually got other jobs outside of One Shot Questers was because people knew them in the community. They're a big creator in the D&D community, and they have many connections. So when I tell someone in the community that I worked with them, I get responses. But because of that, I honestly have not worked with many other people outside of this community. People inside this community all know each other, but people outside the community only know Critical Role and Legends of Avantris. So it's not possible for me to make a connection to someone outside of the community unless I get lucky. Which brings me to my next point, luck. This has to be the biggest factor to play in my entire video editing career. This goes from if people are willing to actually pay you, or if they even reach out to you in the first place, of the sea of people that have applied to their gig. I'm not kidding when I say this is a very oversaturated job, and many of these people, they just think it's easy money. I know I keep going back to my job at One Shot Questers, but it is literally the cataclysm of my whole career. It not only taught me how to edit, but it also gave me the connections I needed to get other jobs. And the biggest reason I got this job was because I was lucky as hell. Let's just say it wasn't exactly because of my talent. Me and my friends decided not to say E in Minecraft, and well, we didn't last very long. There were 2 other editors that were hired before me, and they did way better than I did. I was told I would have never been hired if the cameraman that they tried hiring never showed up. And the biggest reason I was even considered was because of an effect that a friend told me to do after I just happened to have them in the same room. And from there, I only got better.
Quiet on Set exposed a ton of disgusting things about Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider.
This is Nicholas Lindsay. On February 21st, 2011, Nicholas was spotted trying to break into a car near the Tropicana baseball field in St. Petersburg, Florida.
After I was laid off due to this huge D&D scandal of an OGL license that really tanked our views, I applied to thousands upon thousands of jobs over the years. And let me tell you this. Nobody is lying when they say they can't find a job, because I've gone 8 months without a real one, and it is not fun. You may be saying, oh, you've applied to thousands of jobs and you only got a handful of responses back to do demo edits. You must be a bad editor. And you may be right. I may just be a terrible editor who just got lucky and never really improved. Or maybe you're just like me, where you apply to every editing job out there, you only get a few responses back that are asking you to take hours, if not days, to complete a demo edit that they give you no clear guidance on. And you have to find all the effects yourself, whether it's through your library, you have to go to some random weird-ass website where it's similar to something that they had, but you don't know exactly, and you have to pay for it, and then when you didn't do it exactly how they wanted it to, they just throw you to the wolves. I know of people who've done this to me, and I still see their ads looking for new video editors because they can't find the perfect one, so they don't have to train them. And I say you gotta get lucky because there's hundreds upon hundreds of people applying to these jobs, and I mean literally every single one of them. I know because I've been told by employers, and I've seen it in random Discord groups where I get just thrown in and they tell me to do XYZ. Among those people, you're trying to stand out the most, and everybody else is trying to stand out the most. Imagine you're looking at a sea of dots, and you have to pick one of those dots out of the sea of dots, hundreds, thousands, or whatever of dots. You're probably going to do your best to find, obviously, the dot that looks most like your dot, and because they provide no clear guidance on what you're supposed to do a lot of the time, you just have to kind of guess. Usually they just throw a video at you and say, make it look like this, and don't give you any effects, don't give you any of the sound, and expect you to find it all on your own. After all of that, you need to make sure that you are being paid what you're worth, or roughly minimum wage, because people try to undercut you a lot and don't even give you a livable wage. Now, I'm not saying that these companies and people are being malicious by not giving every single person a chance. I mean, some of them are making it hard on themselves and us editors because they're trying to find the perfect editor, which just doesn't exist. I mean, I'm sure there's an editor that can do all the things I mentioned. Obviously, there's one, otherwise people wouldn't be looking for them so much. Others, they're just really overwhelmed by how many people need a job and are just trying to make easy money, and they're trying to do their best to weed out people that they don't need. I've only ever gotten a job because I marked off 2 of those 3 criteria, and a lot of the time, luck is in there. I shared some of the script for this video with some of my editing friends, and here's what they had to say on this matter. Always have a contract. It's great to protect yourself as well as your employer legally. Oh, to have video work that paid well and consistent. Work disappears as quickly as it appears. If you're working as a freelance editor for YouTube clients, don't quit your day job unless you know it's rock solid. And I know I didn't cover things like Fiverr. I didn't cover Upwork. I didn't cover any of that because I don't have experience with those. I've had those for 5 years, and the only time I've ever gotten paid through that was because I asked a client to give me some reviews on it. So they didn't even find me on Fiverr. So all I can say is either my profile is just really bad, which it probably is, or I'm just not lucky enough to get noticed by anybody on Fiverr. I hope this video enlightened you that this is not an easy path to go down for the average person. If you get really lucky, it's going to be obviously very easy to go down. I'm not saying the work is going to be easy. I'm just saying the path will be easy. Don't come after me with pitchforks and stuff. And I hope this video didn't discourage you. It's supposed to be a comfort for those that have had the same problems as me, and I just want them to know they're not alone. There are other editors having the same problem, and those 2 editors that I talked to that gave me those comments, they're having a very similar problem as well. They can't find as much good work as they're worth, honestly. I'd say they're better than me. There's going to be people trying to discourage me and other people in the comments that are going to try to start up shit. They're going to say that we haven't earned our position as a video editor, that we are probably bad video editors, that's why we're not getting gigs, stuff like that. And all I have to say is look at my demo reel. I wouldn't say that's bad editing. That's probably the best editing I've ever done. And if you think that's bad editing, then you definitely don't like MatPat. Extremely inspired by him. If you do like this video, I promise that none of my other videos are like this. I mostly just look at other people doing stupid things and make fun of them. If you like that kind of stuff, go check out those. But none of my other videos are going to be like this. Bye.